As we celebrate Eid al-Fitr with joy, let us remember that it is also a period for caring, sharing, and maintaining the good values that Ramadan and fasting promote.
Rahman Rahim, fellow Gambians, blessed Eid greetings to all. As we celebrate this great and joyous day in the Muslim calendar, marking the end of a month-long period of fasting and devotion, I pray for Allah's infinite mercy and blessings.
Fellow Gambians at home and abroad, friends and residents of the Gambia, once again we devote thanks and praise to Allah for living to witness another Eid al-Fitr. With this gift of life and other divine mercies in mind, the moment should encourage us to remember and pray for the sick and seek Allah's forgiveness and mercy for those we lost during the year. Because Eid al-Fitr brings joy and renewed faith, it is an occasion to express gratitude for completing the spiritual duty of fasting during the holy month of Ramadan. In various ways, Ramadan comes with spiritual and moral lessons for our general well-being. It is a period that reminds us of our duty to support the less privileged, while legally enjoying the bounties bestowed upon us. This includes those struck by calamities, such as hunger, unrest, and natural disasters. Fellow citizens, as we prepare to feast tomorrow, we must not forget that there are many ongoing conflicts and wars in various parts of the world, leading to widespread loss of life and huge destruction of infrastructure and property. Innocent children, women, and men are unjustly killed by the day due to intolerance and mere hatred. The Israel war on Palestine provides typical examples of such grave crimes. It is sad that while we are fasting during the holy month, Palestinian Muslims could not do so in peace. Sadly, in addition to all the suffering associated with war, displacement, and hunger, they will not enjoy the blessings Eid brings. Within the ECOWAS sub-region, the adverse economic realities resulting from the global crisis and the internal political tensions in our nations still remain relentless. Undue hostilities and social divisions characterize the sub-region because of the urge for personal gain. People fight for political advantage, not to build better communities and nations, but for personal interests. The outcome is the existing state of instability and insecurity that threaten us all. Notwithstanding the threats, it is comforting that democracy continues to thrive. We have demonstrated it here in the Gambia, and the sister republic of Senegal has remarkably preserved its political image as a democratic model on the African continent. It is manifestly clear that despite the different political approaches and beliefs people may hold, with strong institutions and respect for all the basic principles of democracy, constitutionality, peace, and stability would reign in every nation. I seize this opportunity to congratulate the new president, government, and the people of Senegal on their peaceful presidential election and transfer of power. This development highlights the importance of the successful national dialogue we held recently. It is obvious that through dialogue we can always build consensus to sustain peace, security, and stability. My appeal to the nation, therefore, is that no matter what the circumstances are, let us keep the peace. In this regard, as a follow-up to the national dialogue and the proposed regional forums, my government will study the recommendations to incorporate them into the National Irwa program. Fellow Gambians, I congratulate the Muslim community on the occasion of the Feast of Eid al-Fitr and thank everyone for the peace, stability, and progress we continue to enjoy. In the same way, I pay tribute to the Christian community for peacefully observing Lent and Easter. Despite the rising cost of living worldwide, my government ensured that there were enough stocks of basic food commodities during both fasting periods of the two religious denominations. I must observe briefly, in the interest of our farmers, that the National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, formerly GGC, bought 36,000 tons of groundnuts, worth about $1.5 billion this season. I am happy to say further that in the face of a few challenges, after guided consultations, the government met its pledge to buy groundnuts without undue prolonged payment delays. Fellow citizens, the current world order and lessons learned around the globe illustrate that development does not take place in a vacuum, nor is there a magic formula to develop a nation. Apart from other material resources, countries develop through their citizens. Further, it depends on their degree of love to country, commitment to deliver, hard work, and determination to overcome hardship and challenges. The strength of our nation thus lies in you, the people. Fellow citizens, to achieve the government's commitment to the national development agenda, we must maintain good road networks and easy access to electricity, clean water, and other amenities. All this require continual flow of financial resources. Unfortunately, the country is not generously endowed with natural resources. Besides the alternative of diversifying revenue sources, taxes remain the lifeline of our development programs. Although government does not intend to overburden you with tax increases or tax payments, we urge all taxpayers to pay tax dutifully and promptly. We promise to use the revenue wisely to build more roads, provide electricity, clean water sources, and fulfill our obligations toward enhancing lives and livelihoods. A solid revenue base is the surest guarantee to viably put our development agenda on track. Once again, I urge all of you to pay your taxes for the betterment of the country. This is the time to work harder and do better for our dear Gambia. Fellow Gambians and friends, I believe everyone here now knows that the Gambia will host the 15th edition of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation Summit next month, May 2024, following several postponements of hosting the event. We are grateful that it is now on the horizon. By God's grace, we shall welcome the Muslim Ummah to the smiling coast of Africa. I ask that you prepare to put up your best show for the occasion. It is an opportunity to show the world who we really are and what we can offer to humanity. Singly and collectively in our places of worship, both during and after the Eid, let us pray for a successful and peaceful summit. As we celebrate Eid al-Fitr with joy, let us remember that it is also a period for caring, sharing, and maintaining the good values that Ramadan and fasting promote. I wish you all a happy and joyous Eid al-Fitr and pray that we live to celebrate the day many times over. I thank you for your kind attention.
Fellow Gambians, blessed Eid greetings to all. As we celebrate this great and joyous day in the Muslim calendar, marking the end of a month-long period of fasting and devotion, I pray for Allah's infinite mercy and blessings be bestowed on all of us. This year's Ramadan coincided with the advent of Lent, which is a holy month, which is a holy period for our Christian brethren, and to them I send greetings and sincere salutations and wish them all the best. For both faiths, the holy months we just exited offer an opportunity for prayer, reflection, and striving for the blessings of Allah. May all our prayers be answered so that our diverse people continue to live in peace and harmony, and our shared goal of a Gambia that is free, democratic, and forward-looking is realized. I humbly ask Gambians of all faith to remember in their prayers our brothers and sisters in Sudan, in other conflict-ridden areas of the world, and in Palestine, against whom a brutal and relentless war of aggression is being waged for the last 6 months. We grieve for the deaths of tens of thousands of civilians and the vicious destruction of hospitals, mosques, and civilian homes. We stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine in their justified claims to their ancestral lands and their rights as a people to live in peace and dignity in their own homeland. My compatriots, this is a time for all of us to take a stock of where things stand with us as individuals and collectively as a nation. Where are we as a country? And more importantly, where are we heading to in a fast-changing world? The answers to these two basic questions are that as a country, we are failing and heading in the wrong direction. Our current predicament didn't happen in a vacuum. It is the predictable outcome of a failure of leadership and all the attendant consequences. We are all witnesses to the acute and high cost of living in the country, and this is getting worse every day. Many are finding it hard to provide basic meals for their families. This has been made more glaring in the just ended month of Ramadan, with our friends, neighbors, and families scrambling to prepare decent iftar. Another example is that in the not too distant past, the President proposed and convened what was billed as a national dialogue to discuss, quote unquote, our collective responsibility in preserving the nation, safeguarding the state, and securing our resources. That the President, who has been in charge of the country for 7 years, is calling for a dialogue on what are essentially core functions of the very government he leads is illustrative of the magnitude of the failure he is presiding over. To invite his political competitors to give condensed few-minute speeches in this event cannot be termed as a serious national dialogue. It is closer to a televised gimmickry disguised as a serious and sincere conversation about a nation facing serious challenges. I call on the President to wake up to the deep and serious problems our country faces. Foremost is the need for him to dial down and abandon the deep, bitter, and dangerous polarization he and his allies have injected into the politics of this country, of this nation. A call for national unity from a government that has fractured and deeply divided communities and even families in the pursuit of political power will ring hollow unless Gambians see and verify a clear change of direction, starting with the President himself down to the last person in his government. I also call on the President to wake up to the existential threat drug poses to our country. Drugs and its use are taking roots in our society, destroying our youths and corrupting our governance infrastructure. Drugs and drug use directly cause crime rates to go up in any society they are prevalent. Nothing comes closer to national emergency than this menace. It is urgent the President convenes an interagency task force comprising of DLAG, the police, the military, SIS, other law enforcement agencies, local councils, religious leaders, and world-level volunteers tasked exclusively to tackling drugs and its effects. In a similar vein, I urge the President to recognize the existence of a cancer that is consuming his administration. That is corruption. Institutional thieves are on the rampage across all sectors of government, and a pernicious sense of impunity is also setting in because people believe stealing public funds is normal and culprits can expect no adverse consequences. Audit reports being relegated to mere opinions and soon ignored. Outright cases of theft, corruption, contract fraud have all become the norm. All this contribute to economic stagnation and governance failure, and they impose the kind of terrible difficulties our citizens face in their daily lives. Fellow Gambians, the fate of our farmers should trouble everyone with a conscience. Farmers have been left high and dry with little or no support in inputs. Even when they strive against tremendous odds to cultivate their groundnuts, this uncaring government just ignores them